Okay, these are bad boys of Brussels. Okay, these are the guys. They really look like thugs. Yeah, they are thugs. They're in their 20s. So this is the Bakraoui brothers. You know, these two. This is Ibrahim. He did the airport. Khalid did the metro. And this is their accomplice, Najim, who is supposedly made the bombs for Paris. You know, Paris with a lot of bombs. So he's a master bomber. His DNA was found on the bombs. Okay, what is it with this guy? So when you go through these sort of diagnostics, you got to look at the players. Okay, so this Khalid, 2009, October. He goes to a big bank at closing hour, and a woman employee comes out, and he has an AK-47, Kalashnikov rifle. And he points it to her, get in the car. And they drive to a local bank. He says, open the door. You know, she does. We want, take out the money. And there's 41,000 euros, okay? So he's a bank robber, okay? Then, 2 weeks later, he carjacks an Audi S3, okay? And later, 2 weeks later, 2 weeks after that, the police find this Audi with his fingerprints on it inside a warehouse, a big warehouse in the older part of Brussels, you know? It's a stolen car warehouse, all right? So court, 2 years later, court puts him in jail for 5 years, says a 5-year sentence. But in 2013, in less than 2 years, he's released. Can that make any sense to you? This is kidnapping. Kidnapping someone's a capital crime. You can die for taking someone like that. And he gets less than 2 years, and he's released. What happened in 2013 that the prosecutors, the government, released him? March 15, he escapes with this guy, the mastermind for Paris, this guy, Salah. He's arrested. They flee. Salah's arrested 3 days later, okay? But he disappears, okay? Now his brother, okay? His brother is Ibrahim, okay? He's 2010, okay, year after his brother is in trouble for arresting a bank. He robs you know what Western Union is? Money transfer. It's a money exchange. Okay, he's there on the lookout. He's got an AK-47. So they got two 47. Both brothers got a gun, rapid fire. Cops are coming, Belgian police. He opens fire, shoots one in the leg. Okay, he shoots a cop in the leg. Okay, then later he has to, obviously he shot a cop. So they give him 9 years in prison. He only serves 4 years in prison. Okay, then he's arrested the next year in Turkey on the Syrian border as a terrorist. Okay. And he's deported to the Netherlands, now not to Belgium. What's going on here? What's going on here with these guys? This guy is supposed to be sitting in jail for shooting a cop. Instead, he's in Syrian border. Isn't that interesting? Okay? Isn't that very interesting? And his brother's released about the same time from prison. Isn't that very interesting? The timeline of events. Now, they're typical guys. They're a little older than the rest of the criminals, so they're better, more experienced. So ethnic gangs in Belgium, Netherlands, and France. 70% of Moroccan youths have served time in prison. They're the underclass, okay? They're criminals, okay? Well, one thing that's going for them, like some Latin Americans, Morocco is a center of hashish and marijuana production from an area called the Rif. They're involved in extortion from businesses, robbery, kidnapping, and also carjacking. What is carjacking? See, in the old days, you could just steal the car, bust the window, right? Get in there, hot wire the thing, drive off, put a new key in, sell the thing, okay? Change the place, paint it, okay? But we now live in an age of this kind of stuff here, I don't have a key anymore. It's a keyless car, right? Open the door, start the keyless ignition, right? Start this up. Oh, no one can rob my car now. I'm perfectly safe. I got a new Ferrari. And you go out and say, hey man, my Ferrari's gone. No, it's not that simple. What a carjacking is, just getting in your car, out of work, and the guy puts a gun to your head. And says, give me your, ignition, your devices. Give me the passwords. Give me your credit card, give me your ID. And he drives off with that. Now he cannot, the problem is, these things are completely wired, right? There's wireless communication from, the car Mercedes-Benz, Audi, Volkswagen, they know exactly where you are. They know exactly where you are, wireless. So you got to park it somewhere, turn off the engine, and put it on the back of a truck. You understand? You put it on the back of a truck, shut down everything so there's no communications outside. Then you drive it to a warehouse, put it there, and then it's shipped off to another country where there is no Mercedes or Volkswagen service center that can track you. Or in those countries, you have these really professional, guys who were trained at Mercedes. I mean, carjacking. What comes to your mind? Guys who like to steal cars, drive fast cars, carry guns around, do illegal shipments.
Fast and Furious.
You got it. Okay. You're media literate.
I'm going with you.
I ain't coming back.
This is where my jurisdiction ends.
And this is where mine begins. What's to stop someone from telling me?
These are the brothers, man. They got family. They belong to a family, a big crime family. They ain't got friends. They have no friends. They have nothing but enemies. These guys love Fast and Furious. They watch it like 2,000 times, like you watch Facebook. That's their, Fast and Furious is like, it makes thugs look like heroes. They love this movie, okay? So, what do? What you learn is that cars are a lethal weapon. Right? Fast and Furious. You chase people, you smash up other cars with a car, right? You do damage with a car. So if these guys are car thieves and they want to die, suicide themselves, why not steal a car, fill it up with cans of gasoline, and drive it right through? See this airport here? All glass. They can take a car, make a spin turn, and go right into the airport and blow the whole place up. There'll be 1,000 people dead, not just 19. If you want to go down, if you want to hurt the system, that's how you do it, correct? It's not a good thought, but if you are Fast and Furious, that's what you would do. Now, if you can steal cars like that, if you carjack, you got the guts to carjack and the guns to carjack, you can steal a car with a diplomatic plate, embassy license plate. And that will get you in front of NATO, EC, or US Embassy. And you can car bomb them if you're good, if you're a carjacker. These are the enemies, supposed in the media. These guys are the enemies of ISIS, correct? They're fighting against the Western powers. Is that what everyone says? The media tells you, and we're supposed to believe that? How come they didn't use a car to take these guys out? Diplomatic car. All right? Because of two things. Because NATO, US, and EC must be friends of ISIS. You don't bomb your friends. In fact, they're not just friends of ISIS, they're family. The other thing is, probably they didn't do that because these guys never intended on suicide, and we'll see why I say that. They were just doing the job. They had no intentions of killing themselves for it. What's wrong with this picture? Tell me what's wrong with this picture. What do you see is wrong with this picture? This. How come they have on one hand? Why? Why on one hand? Why on one hand? Well, you know what the Western media says? Is because they're detonating a bomb. You go like this and the bomb will go off. In the real world of technology, if we use science, you don't blow up anything with a wire. You blow it up with one of these. Right? There's another mobile phone in there. You make the call, connect, the circuit's completed, and it'll detonate. So, the media and the police who told the media are lying. Why would you wear a glove on your left hand? This is image literacy. Because when I'm at American Airlines, I said, passport, ticket, and one bag. No fingerprints. Why no fingerprints? Why don't I? See, if I'm a suicide bomber, do I care? So I would want the fingerprints. I'm me. I'm a great jihadi fighter. This is evidence. I died for a good cause, right? Why don't they want fingerprints on their bag? Because what I say about Ibrahim shooting a cop and all. He went to jail because the police have his fingerprints. And they know that inside the airport they'll check every bag for fingerprints. You got it? Especially if it's an Arab person. This glove here, this one piece of evidence shows they didn't plan to kill themselves. They're not suicide bombers. They wanted to leave. Why? Now, why does this guy, where's his glove? The man on the hat, where's his glove? Why isn't he wearing gloves? Because he's a journalist. He doesn't have a criminal record. He won't get caught. Now we're starting to see these guys were murdered. They're the victims of the blast, not the perpetrators of the blast. Isn't that amazing? Man in the hat, the survivor. 3 baggage carts, only 2 explode. His name is Faisal Shefu, journalist, no crime record, escapes the airport unharmed, is arrested, and then freed by the police after 3 days. He's not even held as a witness. He knows these guys. Police let him go. What's going on here, okay? Why 2 blasts, not just 1? This one did not go off, okay? Well, okay. The other is, why don't you just use 1 bomb if you're going to kill 2 guys, 2 brothers? Why not just use 1 bomb? Why you got to use 2 bombs? And the question is, what if one of them goes to the toilet? You got to make sure he's got his own trolley, his own bag, and you're going to kill both of them, all right? So this was what you call an inside job. Inside job. This guy had the phone. Then the other guy, Khalid, he's heading to the ICE train, to Central Station, where he'll catch a train to Germany. Because the 2 brothers, if they're together, they'll be spotted. This is the Muslim area, Malbik. He was traveling toward this way, to the art station, the Central. It blew up right here in Malbik, right after he got on the train. His bomb blew up. Why did not blow up here? If you're going to strike at the heart of Europe for revenge for selling out ISIS, and you're going to revenge the world, you would bomb right here. You might as well just take the extra 3 minutes to get there, right? Why would you blow yourself up in the Muslim district? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, you blow it. This is probably where he was heading. Take the ICE train out to Frankfurt. Murdered. This is the part of the shutdown of the Euro Jihadist network. The Euro Jihadist network is being shut down. Here's a joint statement. This is the context, the immediate context. U.S. and Russia, okay? Cessation of hostilities in Syria. End of the Syrian war. What this means is Russian military forces, the Russian troops, tanks, Hezbollah have pulled out of Syria. You've read about that, right? They've withdrawn. Which means, in the symmetry under a treaty, all Islamist foreign fighters must leave the combat zone. Okay. After the Brussels attacks and the Paris attacks, police raids uncover evidence of European-wide jihadist cell. Oh, surprise, surprise. Okay? They've only sent 5,000 European citizens to ISIS. Belgium has 800 citizens, Belgian citizens, fighting for ISIS. How did they all leave the country, get their tickets? Poor boys, right? Ghetto, right? Poor boys, they're drug dealers. They don't have any money. How did 800 of them get from a ghetto in Belgium? Get the airfares, get the money, get the weapons, and end up in Syria. Were ethnic Moroccan crime groups hired by NATO CIA to recruit and send young volunteers to ISIS. How did all those young men end up in Syria? Someone had to pay the organized gangs, because all these poor boys work for the gangs, okay? Were Khalid and Ibrahim early released to help NATO, ISIS? The timeline sure looks like early release to join the NATO effort. Did the brothers work at the airport to send recruits to ISIS? Now, one thing you don't read in the news, only one report. The parents, the relatives of these boys and the mother said the 2 brothers had worked at the airport. Airport security. How they know? How do they know about the fingerprints? Because they work for the Israelis. You understand? You understand what's happening here? What's really going on? They have to be silenced. They know too much. You know, if they go to the press. Okay? Who exactly now created, financed, and ran NATO's ISIS project? Who was responsible for this monstrosity? Okay, people's heads being cut off, crucified. Who in the West paid for that? Paid billions of dollars for this to happen. Okay? Why did Khalid Ibrahim have to be silenced so brutally? Why kill him like that so brutally? What's the message from Brussels and Paris massacres? Rule number 1, NATO, CIA, OS, this is the European Security Organization, take none of the blame. That's rule number 1. They don't get mentioned, they don't get involved, no one asks questions. Okay? The Syrian covert interventions be forgotten. Everyone forget it quickly and replace. Let's watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians instead. Okay? This is it. So, and to instill this message, Europeans, white Europeans must be killed in public. Europeans are going to say, well, let's be nice to the Muslims. You can't let Europeans be nice to Muslims. You got to watch the Muslims. You got to see what your Muslim neighbors are doing all the time. Okay? You ask the kids, and your kid in school, that Muslim girl there, was she talking jihad stuff? And you report that to the police. Okay? So what we're seeing, police state. The militarization of your police state. Why? This is the convergence of the catastrophe of Syria and Iraq into the crisis of the world financial system. Two competing pipelines. Iran wanted to build one through Syria from Iran, which would have disrupted the U.S. relationship with Saudi Arabia and the Gulf states, the Arab states. ISIS was put in there to stop that so that there would be a pipeline from Qatar through Saudi Arabia into Syria, controlled by the Arabs. And that way, the allies of U.S., the petrodollar system, all oil sales are denominated in U.S. dollars. The main trade in the world, energy, is based in U.S. dollars, okay? And that's what keeps America number 1. That's what keeps Wall Street and the Western banks number 1. And the lesson is that crisis creates catastrophes. There's a relationship between these things, and they are thus linked. You see the Iraq War, the 2008 Wall Street crisis, right? The Wall Street crisis 2008. The Arab Spring. These are all in the same chain of deferring the crisis, delaying the crisis. This chain of destruction, however, will contribute to the self-destruction of that system. You know, the system is in crisis, is deferring it, but the things that it's doing, murdering all these people, destroying so many countries, is making this very system untenable, and it will collapse. It's guaranteed to collapse now, and it's just a matter of when. And that's the other part of the larger context, the bigger picture, the future. If we look at this, we can be prepared. Maybe in my lifetime, or maybe in your early career, the Western financial system is going to completely collapse. Like taking 2008, but no bailouts. It's gone. Which is why we have a Donald Trump, and, Bernie Sanders coming out, because people are saying, it's coming, man. The system is going down. Correct? So everyone in this room, it's global. If the American system goes down, Wall Street goes down, the European banks go down, the central banks go down, everyone in this room is going to be massively affected. So with all the theories out there, the one that was closest is the craziest conspiracy theory in Veterans Today by Kevin Barrett. He said 322 false flag. The Western powers did it. Brussels has always been the main headquarters of Gladio, a secret army in the Cold War. Okay, an underground pro-Western army, which is a NATO program run out of NATO headquarters in Brussels. The same people at NATO are now running Gladio B, second edition. Okay? The same people as before in the Cold War, which led to the collapse of the Soviet Union. It is the same terrorism committed by the same people. The only difference is that they falsely are blaming it on the Muslims rather than on the communists. Do you understand? Same game. The system throws up the same defense to prevent the crisis. And this theory, unfortunately, turns out to be the one that fits hand in glove